Thanks so much for joining us today for another grab and go craft. This week, we are gonna make these silly or spooky skeletons. So if you wanna make one, go ahead and go by the library and pick up a bag of bones. They're really Q-tips. And we'll get started. By the way, do you know how many bones you have in your body? Be thinking about that and I will tell you at the end. All right, let's go ahead and open up our bag and see what's inside. We've got several Q-tips. Those are gonna be your skeleton's bones. We have its skull and some tacky glue. So tacky glue is different than just regular liquid glue. It has a much stronger hold. You'll also need a couple things from home, like a pair of scissors and a glue stick. The glue stick is optional since you do have tacky glue. I just think it would be a little less messy to use this for its skull, but you don't have to have it. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is set aside one Q-tip to use as a brush for the glue. I'm just gonna put it here to the side so I know not to use it. If you want to, you could use something else from home for a brush, like maybe a paintbrush or a craft stick, or you could just use a Q-tip like I'm doing. It's up to you. Okay, now let's cut a few of these in half to make some ribs for our skeleton. I'm gonna give my skeleton 10 ribs. So if I cut 5 Q-tips in half, that will make 10. A real person has 24 ribs. Whoops. Yeah, and sometimes these go flying. A real person has 24 ribs, but I'm just gonna make this a little more simple and just do 10. All right, so here are my 10 ribs. And then I'm gonna cut 1 in half for its feet. All right, let's collect those. Okay, I think I've got them all. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ribs and 2 feet. Now I'm gonna cut the tips off a few of these 4 fingers. The Q-tips can be a little difficult to cut, so you may need your grown-up to help you with that part. Okay, now it's time to assemble our skeleton. So you can make your skeleton pose however you want. You can make him jump or dance or stand on his head. It's up to you. It's your skeleton. But I recommend laying it out and getting it exactly how you want it before you glue anything, because you don't want to run out of space, and if you change your mind and decide you want to do something different, after you glue something down, it's going to be too late. So get it exactly how you want before you start gluing. And if you want to, you could even give him like a broken bone, like I can move his leg like that. Okay, I think I am pretty happy with my skeleton, so I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing his bones down. So, like I mentioned, I set aside 1 Q-tip to use as a brush. I'm just gonna dip that in my glue, and you can start anywhere you want. I'm gonna start with his sternum, so just brush on just a little bit of glue onto each side of the Q-tip. This is the messy part, okay? And then, whoops. And then just stick it down on your paper. And if you want to know what each of these bones is called, we will link a bone chart to this video. You can check it out. All right, and just keep doing that with each of your Q-tips. Okay, my skeleton's ribs are done, so let's go ahead and move on to its legs. So I'm working on its thigh bone now, and the thigh bone is called the femur. And the femur is both the longest and the strongest bone in your body. All right, now let's move on to the lower legs. You actually have two bones in your lower legs. There's the tibia and the fibula, and they're connected to the femur by the knee. I'm just gonna do one bone though. Let's make it easy. So now on to the feet. All right, he is looking good. His lower body is finished, so let's go ahead and start on his arms. So you have 3 bones in your arms. This upper bone is called your humerus. And then your forearm is made out of 2 bones. There's the radius and the ulna. But again, I'm just gonna do 1. So you can decide what bone this is, whether it's the ulna or the radius. Okay, he is almost done. Let's go ahead and start working on his fingers. Now, the bones that make up your fingers and your toes are called your phalanges, which I think is a fun word to say, phalanges. And you actually have 56 phalanges in your fingers and your toes. There's 14 in each hand and each foot. That is the last phalange. So now all that's left to do is to glue on his skull. And another word for skull is cranium. So there he is all done. The only thing left to do is to let him dry. And another nice thing about this glue is that it dries clear. So once it dries, you won't even be able to see it. Oh, and I just noticed he was missing a finger or a phalange. Let's fix that. Okay, now he is finished. There we go. All right, my skeleton is all dry, and here is how he turned out. You know what, for a skeleton, I think he is pretty cute. So, do you remember earlier how I asked you how many bones you think are in the human body? Do you have a guess? If you said 206, you are correct. There are 206 bones in your body. Can you believe that? That's a lot of bones. All right, so thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you have lots of fun making your skeleton, and be sure to join us next week for another craft. We'll see you then. Bye.